Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of a better podcast.
Yeah, that's gonna really it's gonna take us over the top right there. That one.
Yep, number one podcast in the history of the internet
Yes.
because of that intro sequence.
Yes. Speaking of,
Damn
no
right.
email back from that guy, right?
Nope.
Damn it.
And I'm gonna throw this out to you,
Yes,
and I guess the listener at large.
listener.
Fun fact, everyone, and by everyone I mean that one guy, we have a subscriber.
That wasn't us.
That is not us. We technically have three, but that's because Jeff and I are very vain and subscribe to our own
Hey, we
podcast.
need to.
Hey, gotta get it out
How
there.
else will I
But we
get
have
updates?
exactly. But we have a subscriber that is not either of us,
Yes.
and we would like to give them a round of applause.
Yes.
And then we would like to shame the person who knows who she is, who hasn't followed yet.
Yes. Yes. So we know the subscriber. Full disclosure,
Mhm.
she's a friend of ours,
She is. She's a fine person.
and I told her about the podcast at a 4th of July party,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
she said, "You better not talk about me." So we're not going to name her.
Nope.
and but there was also other friends there who I told about the podcast, and I sent the link to. So the other friend, who shall also remain nameless unless we want to shame her by using her name, has not.
Let's just say they're both named Mary Smith.
Yes, Mary Smith 1 and 2. Mary Smith 2, the bad one, has not
The bad
subscribed
Mary
yet.
Smith.
So shame,
So shame,
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 shame.
shame.
So Mary Smith too. You have now been publicly shamed into subscribing to the podcast.
Which I'm now going to. What happened? I have a story to tell about Mary Smith 2.
Oh, I'm excited.
Me, Mary Smith 2, Mary Smith 1, and other people we hang out with, friends from high school.
Mhm.
They we were at a shindig together. There was
Mhm.
mucho drinking
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
partying. And Mary Smith 2 got a little too drunk, and she got a little too when you know her when she gets drinking, she gets a little aggressive.
Yeah, I've seen that.
She started doing the tickling and like eventually just started like threw me and wrestled me to the ground,
Oh
and she
my.
ripped my shirt, one of my Loot Crate shirts, my Dungeons and Dragons shirt,
What a
which she
bee.
doesn't remember. The next day she didn't remember,
Of
but
course
she
not.
felt so bad about it. To her credit, she offered to
Mhm.
buy me a shirt.
Well, that's
So
nice.
I found a shirt for her to send to me, for her to buy me. But you don't watch Game of Thrones, so you don't know what it is. But there's the character Tyrion Lannister, the little person.
I do know who that is.
He has a line from this past season
Mhm.
where he goes, "That's what I do. I drink and I know things." And so I told her you can get me that shirt. So I'm gonna get that one.
I did actually see a meme of that
Yes.
where they have that scene where he says that line, and then there's a picture of Jon Snow says, "I should start
Yeah,
drinking."
exactly. Because he doesn't know anything.
Jon Snow, you don't know
You know nothing,
things.
Jon Snow. Yes. So
Also, speaking of Game of Thrones memes,
yes.
I saw two pictures against each other. One was a snowblower, and it said snowblower, and then one picture was the actress who plays the character that says that line, and in quotes
Oh,
it said snowblower.
that's mean. But funny.
They are dating in real life,
Yes, they are.
so it's true.
But does he still know nothing?
I'm sure he knows something
He
now.
knows he knows that her
If he
character's
wants that,
dead and his isn't. I'm just saying.
well, fantasy and all that.
Oh, spoilers. Sorry,
Oh,
everyone.
spoilers! People die in that show.
People die in that show all the time. Spoilers for you mostly because you don't watch it and you might.
I've honestly, I've ended up spoiling a lot for myself because I read up on a lot
You
of the
should
characters and
just
stuff.
freaking watch it already.
I will get to it.
We're-
It's only two more
we can't
seasons.
spend every podcast talking about this.
Okay, when the podcast is huge in a couple years and all the seasons are out, I will binge watch the whole series and we can talk
I
about it.
thought we were down to one last season.
No, well, from what I have heard from the showrunners,
Mm-hmm.
there are two seasons left, 13 total
The way
episodes.
they left this past season, things are really coming to a head. So I
Yeah,
guess
there's really no one. Okay, spoiler. There's really no one left to kill in the
I
universe
mean,
that
well,
matters.
it's just like things are moving, Daenerys is finally moving her army across the Narrow Sea to Westeros at the end of the season. So it's kind of like,
And big spoiler: Cersei now sits on the Iron Throne.
yes. So it's kind of like
Jon Snow's still kicking
yeah, he's doing
around.
his thing. He's the king of the North now. And they all but revealed that Jon Snow and Daenerys are brother and sister, like half brother, half sister, or cousins. I forget how
what's his name? I think they're half siblings.
Yeah, they're half siblings.
What's his face? His name is begins with an R. I can't.
Rhaegar Targaryen.
Rhaegar. He kidnapped Lyanna Stark.
Yes.
And
Jon Snow was thus born. But he is.
That's why he don't know nothing, because he don't know.
He don't know who his mommy is. Or his daddy. He thinks his daddy is Ed Stark. He's wrong.
He is dead wrong.
Dead wrong.
Much like Ned Stark.
Well, he is dead, but he came back.
Well, I mean, Ned Stark is dead, though.
Oh, he's definitely dead. Yeah, he's like super dead.
Because he was played by Sean Bean.
Yeah, Sean Bean cannot survive.
I still think my theory about that is that because the only movie I can think of he didn't die in is Silent Hill of all movies.
He didn't die in Ronin, but he did get.
But he did leave.
He got kicked out of the heist crew for lying.
And what my theory is with that is that Sean Bean enters a project, and then like halfway through is like, you know what, I'm really bored of this. Can I go?
Can I just leave, please?
Yeah. So they kill him off, or in the case of Ronan, they kick him out, and he's done. And that's why he doesn't last in anything, because he gets really bored of the work.
So for Game of Thrones, he was like looking at the script, like, oh, thank God I die at the end. Huh.
Wait, how long is this show going to go on? Like 8 seasons? I don't got time for that.
Yeah,
Can you get me like out here like the end of the first one?
He's probably kicking himself now, though.
Although he might not be, because I mean the character he played, although short-lived, at the time we didn't know it would be short-lived because we didn't know how many seasons it would be. Very important character, though.
Yeah.
Very, very important to the history of the series, from what I.
It's just that he's not receiving a paycheck still. Well, he's getting probably royalties or whatever, but he's not.
Oh yeah,
he's not working on. He's not getting an episode by episode paycheck like everybody else does. So.
but my guess is because he probably found out quickly that the character wasn't going to last super long.
It's just it's like, oh, bummer.
He's like, give me them royalties.
He hasn't been doing anything either right now, recently. Not that I've seen.
There's nothing coming out that he would be dying in.
Oh yeah, that must be it. It's true too. In Lord of the Rings, if he read the book, he would know that Boromir dies in the first book as well.
Yep. He's probably like, oh, I need to get that role.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
Sean, we'd like to offer you the role of Aragorn. Can I make a quick suggestion? Boromir, I think I'd be great for him.
Boromir, please.
But he dies. I'd be great for him.
But
he should have done is negotiated a Bobby Bonilla type contract for Game of Thrones. Yeah. For those of you not in the know, and we mean Mary Smith.
Yes.
You're not in the know.
1 and 2. 1 or 2.
Just 1, because 2 hasn't subscribed yet.
So definitely not 2 though.
Definitely not.
Because she's not going to learn about this.
We got the good one.
Yeah.
We got the good Smith.
The good Mary Smith.
So for those of you who don't know, Bobby Bonilla played for the Mets at the end of his career, and in 2000, which I believe was his last season, instead of getting his normal paycheck for his contract, because the Mets wanted to let him go, I think they owed him like $5 million. He opted to defer his payment up until, I want to say 2011, with 8% interest, and then he would get a paycheck every year. And now he gets $1.19 million every year from 2011 to 2035 because of the contract he signed.
That's good managing right there. That's his agent is so pleased with himself right now.
I think his agent was actually a former insurance agent, so he knew all about these kind of contracts.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it, baby.
So every July 1st, if you'd like to celebrate, is Bobby Bonilla Day. So we recently had our Bobby Bonilla Day. So I think that's what Sean Bean should have done, is negotiate a contract where he doesn't get anything for like 10 years. And then he, gets a yearly check, an annual check, for like the next 50 years.
That's not so bad.
I'd take that. Also, speaking of sports, I do laugh sometimes seeing these like really ridiculous contracts that players get, and they don't perform super well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, for like a tenth of that, you could have picked me, and you'd be in the exact same position.
Yeah, buddy, come on.
I would do just as well as that athlete is right now, and it would cost you like 10% of what it cost him.
Yeah, you could just give me the league minimum.
Exactly. Give me the veteran minimum. Actually, no, just give me league minimum. Like what, 500,000?
Yeah, just $500K. I can live on $500K easy.
Shit, just pay off my debt and I'll play for free.
Yeah. Suck your dick too. as we talked about in the previous podcast.
Jeff, I think everyone's gonna think we're gay.
Gay for pay.
Yeah, I probably would. I got bills. I got needs.
Oh yeah, I have needs, all right, and they don't involve dick, but they do involve money.
Hey, gotta spend money to make money.
Exactly. What?
Yep.
Doesn't make.
They make you uncomfortable now?
I'm confused, mostly just confused.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. But speaking of more sports, we can talk. We can touch quickly on it because it's probably not very interesting to people outside of you and I.
Especially not Mary Smith.
She's,
Mary Smith won. She's a Giants fan though, so that's good.
which is good. Which is good.
I don't think she's a Dubs fan though.
Nope. And probably not a Niners fan. Definitely not a Sharks fan. I don't imagine Mary Smith being into hockey.
I don't know. I mean, I think she started watching the Giants because of the World Series run. Well, one of them.
It tickles
I
me.
think it was the first one, but
But actually, I can ask you a quick question then,
okay.
and then we go back. Of the Giants' 3 World Series victories in the past 5 years or 6 years, I guess now. What would you say was the best one for you?
The first one, without a doubt.
See, I'm torn. I'm torn between the first and the second.
The first one had, I mean, they all have their like. You can't have a World Series without historic or heroic moments from certain people and stuff like that. But like, but that first one was like we had everything on the line. It was like the big deal, and it was like first time in 52 years, 54 years or something like that. It's just like it was.
I think it was 54 since they moved out there, but 56
since their last World
58.
Series.
Because before the time before that, they won in 54,
Yeah.
and then they moved to San Francisco in
58. Yeah, so the first time in the San Francisco franchise history they won at the World Series because we'd gone.
We went in 2002 and should have won that.
And we went in '89.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we did. We got swept by the A's
After
and then
the Loma Prieta. That was against God. God didn't want that to happen.
and then they were up 3-2 against the Angels, and then they got lost the next 2 games. Yeah, but I think for me, I mean, obviously the 2010 will always be top 2 moments ever for me, just because of everything you said, just how long it had been, the fact that they'd been there 2 other times and they couldn't do it, and they finally did it.
Well, go ahead.
And there was also the fact that it was essentially the start of this huge run they've had.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's also I think it's tied with the 2012 World Series because they went into it, playing the Tigers, being this huge underdog. Pretty much everyone said the Tigers were going to destroy them.
Yeah, especially Justin Verlander and Pablo Sandoval just owned Justin Verlander.
He not just owned him, but did something that 3 other players have done in the history of the league: hit 3 home runs off the dude in one game. Yeah. And then, at one point, I think it's the third one. You could just see Justin Verlander being like, "Again?"
Yeah, I was like, "What the?"
But it wasn't just that they swept him. It wasn't just that they destroyed their best pitcher. It was the fact that obviously everyone said they weren't going to win, and the final out of the series was Sergio Romo striking out Melky Cabrera looking.
Yeah.
Melky Cabrera, who just won the Triple Crown, who was the hitting champ for the AL, struck out looking.
And former
on
Giant,
a fast.
too.
Or not Melky Cabrera.
Not Melky, yeah. I was going to say
Miguel
Cabrera, the different Cabrera. Another Cabrera. There's a lot of Cabreras.
There are a lot of Cabreras. Very common name. But the AL batting champ struck out looking to a fastball.
Yeah. Sergio Romo's fastball, which is
right?
I think tops at 89.
Yeah, because the whole time he was going, he was looking for a slider, and Sergio threw him nothing but fastballs.
Yeah, the whole time, which is crazy.
And just the fact that he was able to to strike him out looking, it's amazing to me.
I think for me, it's the first one because at the time, the entire Bay Area was just galvanized behind the team. Like the whole attitude, everybody was on board. Everybody. It was crazy how much everyone was just so excited to be a part of it. They all wanted to be involved. And remember the Particles? The local radio station KMBR 680. What's his name? It was sports leader Marty Laurie. Was he the Particles guy? Was that his thing?
I think so.
He would basically he was talking about I feel the particles, I feel good vibes, the good vibrations and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that's what I remember most is the whole Bay Area was just behind this team, and we all knew we were going to win. There was no doubt in our minds that we were going to win the World Series. Mm-hmm. I say we as if all of us were there.
Yes, we were drafted in that.
Yeah,
team.
Exactly.
Made some really poor financial decisions. That's why we're in so much debt.
I know, right?
We actually kept that check.
Yeah. We knew we were going to win, but nobody said it. nobody was going to say anything because it's like we didn't want to screw it up. It's
Yeah.
like the
Well, you
entire
always
Bay
get that in
Area.
sports streams.
The entire Bay Area were just like they were like on a hush, like it was like a no for the whole season. You know what I mean? So everyone's just like watch that Giants game, and like there'd be a lot of like like so it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I will always remember that. That was just probably one of the best times ever. Going out into the street and like screaming at the top of my lungs when we won that first time. I've never felt that way before, and I'll never will again because that was the first one. And you just can't get around it. Uh,
Well, one thing I will say is, regardless of which one is your favorite
mm.
as a fan, they all have had something different about them.
Oh yeah.
Like in 2014, with the exception of, or excuse me, 2014,
Hmm.
with the exception of the actual series against the Royals,
Hmm.
the Giants pretty much railroaded everybody.
Yeah.
They tore through the Pirates. They did. There wasn't a single series that I don't think they lost more than one game.
Yeah.
But then they got to the Royals, and it was the nitty gritty series where it was down to game 7. They were up by 1 run and almost blew it in the ninth inning
Hmm.
because of a misplay by Gregor Blanco. But in 2012, like it was the exact opposite. Like they struggled. Like the first series, they were down 2 games and they had to win 3
Hmm.
in a row against the Reds, and against the Cardinals, they were down 3-1, had to win 3 in a row. And then they get to the Tigers and they just destroy them.
Yeah. They just wrecked the Tigers.
Yeah,
And
and then
but isn't that the series too where Tim Lincecum takes one for the team, comes out of the bullpen to pitch?
yeah, and he pitches like 5 innings and just demolishes.
Like it's
And
doing
that was also
that's the thing though, doing what he needs to do for the team.
exactly.
And the Angels
And
are
that
really
was
lucky to
also
have Lincecum now because he's that kind of
oh
guy.
yeah,
He wants to do
oh
his
yeah,
best for the
absolutely.
team.
Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously he wants to be a starting pitcher, but he's also like whatever it takes to win the damn game.
Yeah.
But it was also the same series where I believe it was both the Cardinals series for Vogelsong and Zito, where they just pitched out of their minds and absolutely demolished the other team.
Yeah.
They were just untouchable, and they oh sorry, knocked my headset.
So
They
excited.
I'm so excited, but no, they were just like absolutely in their prime in that moment. Like they recaptured whatever they needed to and just dominated.
Hmm. The last one too with 2014, Madison Bumgarner is just total like wrecking. Like
Mhm.
in sort of his like climb. Like we always knew he was a superstar, but that's sort of like
Oh
he
yeah,
climbed to like superstardom amongst the league. And coming out in that last game, having pitched the night before,
no, he was on 2 days
he was on 2 days
rest,
rest, and he
but he
finishes.
pitched almost. He pitched like what 5 innings,
Yeah,
6 innings in
and
that
he just
game.
came out and he just like totally ruined them.
Oh yeah, I love that series because in the last game, with them winning it, 2 things happened that were awesome. Tim Hudson finally got a World Series win.
Yeah,
He'd been in the league, God, what 18
yeah.
years? He was one of the few pitchers that actually has beaten every team in the league at least once.
Hmm.
Finally gets a World Series ring after 18 years, and and then he retires the next season, and then Jerry Maffelt retires the next season, and because he came up with the Royals and he actually got the win for that game,
Yeah.
and won his third World Series by beating the team that brought him up.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's like Aubrey Huff winning in 2010. Aubrey Huff like having a huge long career and finally playing for the Giants. Then finally like he'd never been to the World Series or he never to the
Hmm.
playoffs. I couldn't remember which one it was. I think he'd never been to a World Series before in his long career, and he finally made it on a team that made it to the series and they win. It's a big
Yeah,
deal for Huff. So like yeah, they're all good stories. They're all excellent.
yeah.
I can't stress it enough. If you're a baseball fan,
Hmm.
those like every World Series has its great story, and a real baseball fan loves it no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Unless you're the Dodgers were there, and then I would have to hate it out
yeah.
of spite. That's just a
Yep.
thing. That's normal. Like there's no Red Sox fan out there who's going like, yeah, when the Yankees won, and no,
Yeah.
doesn't
Like
exist.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing I love about sports rivalries. Like, no matter how good the story is, if the other team did it that you hate, fuck
Yeah,
them.
fuck
No,
those
they
guys.
shouldn't have gotten
No,
it.
not worth it. Not good enough.
Nope, nope. But yeah, that's a side note to talking about the Dubs. Uh, quick
Oh yeah,
diversion to the Giants.
we were beginning to talk about the Dubs.
Yeah. Also, one more thing about the Giants. Best team in the league right now.
Yes, that's right.
They are 23 games above 500, and I think last I checked, 7 games, possibly more ahead of the
Yeah,
Dodgers. for first place in their part of the league.
Fucking Dodgers. When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to swear, obviously. But in my house, I could drop the F-bomb if I followed up with Dodgers. Like I go, fucking Dodgers, and my dad would be like, "That's right, son."
Yeah, that's right. That's my boy.
My boy.
But back to the Dubs. So very exciting news if you're a Dubs fan, which you should be.
And you already know about this.
Yes. Kevin Durant decided to sign with the Dubs, and in the process, the Dubs have also drawn a whole bunch of veterans that really want to play for them. They're signed for the league minimum,
A couple of ring hunters out there, but
which I'm totally fine with. Like, okay, I hate the name ring hunter because guess what? Literally everyone in this game
wants
is
a
hunting
ring.
for.
Yeah.
You go into the NBA because you want to win the championship. Like if you get the option to play for a team that has a phenomenal chance to get there, and they want you, I don't see why you wouldn't sign with them.
Especially if you're on your way out, you've already made your money, you're towards the end of your career, and you want a ring. You want to finish off your NBA career, or if you're a sports guy, if you're an athlete, you want to finish off on top. That's just the way it is. Like you don't want to finish like I had a 15-year run, and I did all these things, and I'll never like forget it, and it was great and stuff like that. But I never got to win the championship. That's what you want. These guys don't make it to this level and not be competitive. Like there's no such thing as a non-competitive professional athlete.
And even the players, like I'll use Brandon Crawford as an example because he's homegrown. He grew up in Pleasanton. I guarantee you, he always wanted to play for the Giants. But I also guarantee you, he wanted to play for the Giants under the pretext that he would win a ring with them.
Absolutely.
Like there's no way you pick a team and you're like, yeah, whatever happens, I'm fine with as long as I make my money. Yeah. Those people don't exist in the NBA or any sport really. So the whole idea of like the ring chaser, I hate that because it's like saying he's a ring chaser is like, well, duh, he's in a sport where you win rings. Like that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the thing I love the most about the Durant signing, and they talked a bit about this on KMBR, and I think it's really true. Is that that particular moment signifies the complete 180 that the Warriors have taken over the past 20-25 years. Because after they won their championship in '75, and then when they went to the conference finals in '76 and they lost, they were pretty much garbage for like the next 25 years. Yeah. Like they had they were the epitome of mediocrity.
Yeah,
in sports for like 20 years.
That was it.
And the fact that in the past 5 years, 6 years, they've gone from garbage team to the team where people like Kevin Durant want to go to speaks just volumes about the complete change that the team has taken, that the front office has taken, that the whole organization as a whole has taken. The fact that you're having these people who are really good, like they just signed David West, who's really good, for the league minimum. The fact that he's willing to play for the league minimum, the veteran minimum, for a team like the Warriors speaks just huge amounts of just how much better and how good they are. And I like it as a fan because I suffered through, because I've been more of a fan the last, I would say, 10 years when I really started watching basketball. But I've been a fan since, I would say, like 10, 11, and just watching them be garbage, it hurt to watch.
I was lucky. I didn't really start watching until the year before the championship run. That's when I started watching because I was never really like, I never picked up basketball. You know what I mean? I liked watching baseball and football, but
I grew up with my dad being a sports writer forever.
Yeah, exactly.
He, with the exception of hockey, like he pretty much watched the major sports. So I was always like, the basketball was on, so we were watching. If baseball was on, so we were watching. If football was on, that's what we were watching.
Yeah.
So I really grew up with those, but I didn't really get into them until like 10, 11. But yeah, like just seeing that huge change, it blows me away. Like I don't even care anymore that they didn't win the championship, because with the type of atmosphere they have, with the type of players they're attracting, they're going to win at least 3 or 4 more, I think.
I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
And they did something. They did something that Cleveland can never do, and that's be a place where people actually want to play.
Yeah.
I had to shit on Cleveland one more time.
Of course.
But in seriousness, like I'm so stoked to see that they really have truly made a difference that they said they were going to make. Like there was a tweet that Curry put out a few years ago, after I think right at the start when he first got drafted, saying that they were going to find a way to figure it out, and they did it. And I'm just so stoked to see that as a fan, because they actually did what they said they were going to do.
And well.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin Durant to the Dubs. I'm super excited,
Yes.
and I'm glad they found. I'm bummed that we lost people like again we as though we played for the team.
Yes.
I'm bummed they lost Barnes and
And
Bogut,
most Spates.
Mo Spates and Barbosa and Festus Ezeli.
Barbosa's a hard loss for me. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I Barbosa and Spades like Festus Ezeli. I was kind of like it's kind of a bummer, but we can find another center because they just signed another center. His name is Zulu Pachulia, I think.
Hmm.
He's a veteran. He's been in the league for years. And seeing Barnes go sucks, but I mean they picked up Durant, so upgrade.
Hmm.
And seeing Bogut go again is a bummer because he was really good, but he's also pretty injury prone the last couple of seasons. So
Yeah. Well, that was bound to happen eventually.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more of an impact he can really make because he tends to get injured pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But when he's on the court, he's really good. Like they were phenomenal with him on the court. But I think I don't know because I haven't really seen much of Zuzu. I think his name is Zuzu. So I can't say how much of an upgrade is. But they just drafted Damian Jones, who's supposed to be one of the best centers in the draft. I'm sure they'll find other spots to fill or other players to fill that spot.
Hmm.
So I'm not really too concerned with that. But losing Barbosa and Spates, I'm really bummed about because I love the Blur and Mo buckets.
Yeah. The Brazilian Blur. The king of the layup too, because that guy had like on the bench they say that he was the man of 1,000 layups, because he could get a layup into that basket from like any angle, like any. It's like it was just the weirdest. He would find the weirdest way to bounce it off whatever to make it work.
Right?
It's just that's just the way he is. So good luck to him because he's great, and he really like when we first signed him, they,
Hmm.
they they called him out on his defensive game,
Hmm.
and that like it was terrible. Like they said so. Like your defense game is terrible, and he really took it to heart. And like you can see this massive improvement in his defense game,
Hmm.
uh,
Absolutely.
where he was just all thinking about offense all the time. And like they called him out, and I was like, dude, you suck at defense though. We are a. I mean, it doesn't show sometimes, but we are a two floor team. Like we have a defense and an
Yeah.
offense, guys.
Like I know the
We
offense is
play
the more
both sides
exciting
of the
part,
basket.
but but one thing I'm really excited about is that they actually were able to keep Iguodala. From what I've heard, they kept Iguodala. I haven't heard anything about him leaving or being traded.
Yeah, I think he's still one of the big three, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Also because like I don't know why they wouldn't get rid of him because he went with Curry, Thompson, and Green to go visit Durant.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So there's no way they would have sent him
Like Durant wanted to
if it.
meet the team, and he
Yeah,
wanted to meet the three. He wanted to meet Iguodala, Curry, and Thompson. That's what he wanted to meet.
yeah. But so you don't send that guy if you're going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And they also kept Sean Livingston, which I'm really happy about.
Sean Livingston can come around as a really good player. I think he's still good enough to play on a start on the team. But
I think he's still a little iffy because of the massive injury he had
Mhm.
that was potentially career-ending.
Yeah, but so did
So I think
Curry.
he's still well, true. But I mean, like from what I heard about the injury he had, like it was pretty much done. Like he wasn't coming back.
Yeah, he's
So I think he's still a little I'll say a little not wary, but
cautious.
being cautious. Yeah, being a little cautious. But I think another off season to get himself in not that he's out of shape, but to keep himself in shape and to work on I think it was his injured knee. I think it was.
Hmm.
I think he'll be even better than he was last season. He was really good last season. But I think there was a tweet out that I thought was pretty funny. It was after one of Sean Livingston's like really just great games during the regular season, and it was a tweet that something like "Death comes from Sean Livingston." Sean Livingston dribbles back in the post, and Jordan hits a jumper.
Yeah. All right. We bored our fans with basketball talk.
I'll apologize now for potentially future episodes. We are big sports fans.
Yes, sorry.
So sometimes we talk about sports.
I can be nerdy about many things.
Don't you fault me for this, America.
I can be nerdy. This is the day and age where someone can be a nerd and talk about comic books and Dungeons and Dragons and TV shows and computer games, and then just go off on a tangent about the Warriors or the Giants. I'm sorry. This is
You'd
the
be
way it
like,
is.
"Hey, bro, did you play that new Dragon Age game?" And then immediately follow that up with, "Hey, bro, did you see that? Did you see the big game?"
Yeah.
Like that's us. That's who we are.
That's who
And that's
we
what that is what you are getting into when you listen to this show.
We have layers. God damn it, we're people.
We are like a
Rounded
fucking
people.
onion.
We are onions of people.
We have layers, and we will make you cry if you cut us.
Yes. Well, I'll be crying too because I don't like eating. pain stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't like being cut either. But
Yes.
I'm just saying,
I'll be
we'll make
crying.
you feel real.
It'll-
Make you feel real bad about it to the point where you will start
Yeah,
to cry.
we'll fight back, like, because you cut us, but I'll be like crying, going, I'm sorry, as I cut you back, sucker. Because I have feelings.
I'll take a knife while you're distracted, and I'll stick you.
Yeah, because I have feelings, and you hurt them, as well as hurt me.
And like physically hurt me too, because I bleed.
Yeah, all the blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Good story, bro.
Good story, bro. 10 out of 10. Would tell again.
Yeah, would tell again. Would bang.
Would bang.
Would bang that story.
Would bang story. All right. All right. So I do have a neat thing we can talk about real quick.
Yes.
So I followed this Twitter account called Ann Pigeon.
Ann Pigeon.
Whose Twitter handle is I'm Sky Trash.
That's nice.
So a very accurate representation of a pigeon.
I see.
And he put out a list of great curse words that I think that we should, if not discuss for a minute, you should just hear.
Okay.
And be me too.
Should take some notes.
You should take some notes, and you can let me know which of your favorite is. So the list of great curse words goes as follows: idiot dick, a wiener penis.
Oh, okay.
Stupid shrub ass bitch.
Stupid shrub ass bitch.
Yep.
Okay.
Idiot ass dick wiener penis ass bitch. Ass hauling idiot dick and ass man.
An ass man. Ass hauling idiot dick.
I think I'm torn between wiener penis, stupid shrub ass bitch, and idiot ass dick wiener penis ass bitch.
Oh, good God.
I think mostly because with the last one, if you can remember all those words to call me that, I won't really have anything to say because I'll just be impressed that you remembered all of that.
Wow, good on you. Here.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow, God.
So which of those would you label as your favorite?
Oh, I think idiot dick still stands out to me because it's just kind of like, you idiot dick.
well, which between the two do you think is better, idiot dick or ass hauling idiot dick?
I mean, I think idiot dick is still the one because I don't know. I'm thinking too hard about what ass hauling means, which I think
hauling ass,
which would distract the insult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to insult someone, you want them to like know.
I do like the first comment on this by the Adam Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
He says wiener penis is dope.
It is dope. Well, good.
And according to Ann Pigeon, that was also his favorite.
There you go.
So yes, I think those are quality insults. I think if you find yourself in a position where you need to retort to someone, I think any of those 6 are a fine choice. And I think we've you should thank us for the information we've provided you.
You're welcome.
So thank us in the comments.
Which nobody has.
Yes, you are welcome. We have had 10. I think of 11 whole views.
Yes.
No comments.
No comments.
Which I don't know if I'm necessarily upset about that.
It could be
because
good.
no comments means that no one has yelled at us yet.
Yes. Or nobody's bothered to listen to the whole thing to bother commenting.
I can't say because I have to look to see how many minutes have been listened to in total. But no one comments means that no one has called us names yet, and my fragile ego is fine with that.
We got to get the word out. I think it's time to expose ourselves in the Facebook to everyone, especially now that I don't have to worry about.
I yelled at my Facebook and banned for a week.
Yes, I banned for a week.
Yeah, because I exposed myself.
Oh, that's different. Expose our podcast to the world.
Oh, okay.
Just especially since I don't have to worry about getting fired from my job anymore.
This is true.
I have a new job, guys. I'll be starting next week.
I'm very excited for you.
Yes, I'm quitting the Home Depot. There, I said it.
You work at the Home Depot.
And I was afraid to say so because I say things and I swear on here and. Sometimes I could say ridiculous or offensive things in the form of a podcast, but because of they tell you when you get hired as a supervisor that you are now an agent of the company, And so anything you do outside of work represents Home Depot, and you can get fired for it. So I didn't want to deal with that crap. My new place, I'm still not going to say where I got a job at, but it pays better, and I have weekends off now, and things are going to be much better for life.
So you're almost like a normal human.
Almost like a normal human, except for the obvious parts.
Wait, I just mean schedule-wise.
Oh, yeah. That.
No, you're still weird otherwise.
Yeah, weird. That's why.
It's
not anything physical attributes. 2 dicks. Anyway,
you look weird, but that's something different.
I have diphalia, Kenny.
Well, you are 2 dicks at once.
Hey! I don't have. I don't actually have diphalia. I'm lying. Sorry. AMA?
Or do you?
What would I do with 2 small penises?
Hey, there's a dude out there who had diphalia, and he was also bisexual.
Yeah, and he was hung for both of them.
Yeah, which I'm not mad. But apparently, he was getting double teamed by a couple dudes while he was fucking a couple ladies at the same time.
That's complicated.
So I don't know how you like physically. I don't know how that works, but he said he did it.
I don't know.
And I mean, I can't imagine he'd be lying. I mean, he proved he has the 2 penises. Yeah. So
they look great. They're majestic cocks. Man, we are gay, Kenny.
Disclaimer: we are not actually gay.
Although it's not very convincing if we have to keep telling people that we are not.
That's true. We should probably change the direction of the show.
Yes. Anyway, what else do we got going on? Oh, Pokemon Go recently released. Finally to the US.
Yes. For those of you not in the know, Pokemon's Go is out, and you probably are in the know because if you're listening to us. Where have you been?
Yes. It's out. I cannot play it because I have a Samsung Galaxy S3 because the price was right.
Got to get with the times, son.
Soon I will hope to upgrade and start playing and catching them all like all y'all do. But over the moon about the whole thing. Everyone's very excited about it, and everyone's greatly like involved in it. It's amazing. It's like it's in 6th grade again because they're talking about the original 150 as well. You know what I mean? Like the first generation of Pokemon are the only ones you can catch thus far. So everyone's talking about like I caught a Goldeen the other day, and I'm like, man, I haven't heard anybody in like a public setting get excited about that since the 6th grade.
And I will tell you guys now. For those of you who may have been trying because you saw the Reddit post. There's a Reddit post out that says that if you look under a truck, you can catch a Mew.
Oh.
Referencing the old myth that if you went to this truck in I want to say it was Cerulean City.
It was before you got in the SS Anne, you could move the truck.
Yeah, and if you move the truck, you'd fight a Mew and you could catch it.
Yeah, which is not true.
Not true.
Not true.
There's an image out, but all it is someone took the sprite of Mew from Pokemon Snap and put it under a truck.
Yeah.
And also, it says something like, my friend's cousin's dad works for Pokemon Go, so, like, clearly not true.
Yeah.
So if you see that, it's false. You can't actually do that.
Yes.
I don't know if you can actually catch a Mew, but it's not that way.
But I have 2 predictions for Pokemon Go. If Pokemon Go continues its incredible popularity as it has now, like if this rides out, these 2 predictions will come true. 1, American obesity will be solved. Because everyone is out there, like, walking around looking for Pokemon. People are getting out of the house. People are going because the app will tell you, like, oh, you can find water Pokemon at this local creek. So they go to that local creek. You know what I mean? Do not play Pokemon Go and drive. I cannot stress that enough. It's not worth it. It's dangerous and stupid to do so, but people are stupid, so there's that. But I think it will solve American obesity because
it will definitely take a big chunk of obesity out of the equation.
People will be running around, they're having a great time, they're catching Pokemon, they're out training, son, and they want to be a Pokemon master. So there's one prediction. 2, Pokemon Go will single-handedly change the smartphone industry and how it deals with battery consumption and battery life, because as it stands, Pokemon Go requires GPS to be activated and your camera to be on, and those 2 things kill your battery in a big bad way. People are walking around and like they have to charge after playing Pokemon Go for like 2 hours. They have to recharge their battery. So they're gonna have to like totally reinvent the wheel as far as how we handle smartphone technology, like battery wise, which is good because I feel like they've been really kind of slacking. They've been putting more and more into how fast a phone can charge, or into how fast a phone is, like power CPU processing power and stuff like that. But battery life, lithium ion batteries, like they're never as good as they advertise them to be. And
Nope.
if you have all the settings turned on, like I remember when I first got my S3 and you and I were talking about like what settings I can change, because you used to have one of those or something like it. And because like my battery would like be, I would have it on for like 2 hours and I'd be at 50%. And so I had to like shut off this, that, and the other thing, just to make sure my battery would last all day without having to charge midway through. And that's ridiculous on a brand new phone. Now, granted, my S3 is 4 generations old now. However, it doesn't matter because people's batteries still blow. So they're going to have to focus on a way to make the batteries better, just so they can make people happy for Pokemon Go.
Well, I mean, the problem with that is, let me start over. The problem is they've been like quote unquote focusing on making the batteries better, but their solution making it better is to just make it bigger.
Yeah, as the phone gets bigger, the battery surface area gets bigger.
Which, I mean, is good in the sense that it does give you more battery power and more battery time because you have a larger battery, but that's definitely not a long term at all.
It's an engineering marvel and an engineering feat to try and do that, where you have to try and keep the phone have the slimmest possible profile with the longest battery life. And I understand, like, it sucks for people who make phones or trying to figure that shit out. It must be a really big challenge and a pain in the dick.
Oh yeah.
That the consumer wants all of that in the smallest possible package, and it better work every time, or so help me God. But
we will riot in the streets while we play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, while we play Pokemon Go, it'll be like quiet rioting, and then people are fighting over, that's my Pidgeotto, stuff like that.
I will add, I do agree. I think it will, if not solve outright, it will definitely help tremendously the obesity problem in America. And it will, to some degree, push phone creators to create a better and more efficient battery.
I think so. I feel like.
But I will add it as an addendum to your first point. I think it will also, as a consequence of decreasing the obesity rate, increase the rate of vehicular homicides. Because people are going to be wandering in the street and getting hit by a car
or driving
a lot more often.
Or driving and like...
It's either going to be a dark night and some kid wanders in the street and gets hit by a car because no one can see him because he popped out of fucking nowhere. Or some dude's like sitting at a stoplight and being like, oh man, there's a Mewtwo's right nearby, and then tries to get it and like hits telephone pole.
Well, listen, if it's a Mewtwo, that sacrifices have to be made.
No, I'm not saying that he shouldn't try and get the Mewtwo. I'm just saying there will be consequences for trying to get the Mewtwo. But no, I support you trying to get the Mewtwo.
I do have an article now, Pokemon Go related. I didn't earlier when we were having our technical difficulties before we could record. I found
which hopefully we have solved permanently.
Yes, we hope. Anyway, so here we go from Cron 4 News, which is the local news.
It's a local affiliate out where Jeff is, where I used to be.
I'm not going to read the headline because it'll show it off. So I'm just going to read you the opening paragraph.
Will you read the headline after you were done?
Yeah, but you'll know.
Because I would like to know the headline.
Okay, fine. Riverton, Wyoming, Kenny. Straight out of Riverton.
Oh man.
Yeah. Straight out of Riverton.
I remember that.
That was a good song in the 90s. Remember that?
Yep, that was a great song. Loved it.
Yes. A teenager in Wyoming made a horrifying discovery on Friday while playing the new Pokemon Go game on her phone.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
Shayla Wiggins, 19, had the game prompt her to find a water-type Pokemon near a stream. I'm thinking maybe like a Seaking, or maybe even like a Goldeen, maybe a Staryu.
Perhaps a Horsey.
Yeah, Horsey. Anyway, sorry. Just neither here nor there. Wiggins traveled to a local bridge where instead of finding the Pokemon, she found a dead body lying face down in the river. Wiggins called the police immediately after she discovered the body. Investigators have yet to identify the body, but believe that the person most likely drowned. Despite the scare, Wiggins says she will continue to play the popular game. So who wrote that? Give credit to Yama Hazir. Good on you. That was funny. That last line. It probably isn't the most sensitive thing, but it's funny. And so far, there's been 3 comments on the story, and they don't appear to be very. They don't seem to care about the fact that a human life has been lost. Like, because the 3 comments are, "Uh-oh, I thought I hit it better than that." One person goes, "Sounds like a stupid game." so they're just wrong. And the first commenter said she should have collected it herself and got some extra points. I want to. So maybe something comes to mind in the same vein of insensitivity. It's like, was there a ghastly found nearby?
Oh.
Oh, the monster. Other struggles with the game that people have found is that, of course, there's the server controversy. People are having.
I have heard this. I've heard about. I don't know precisely what it is.
It's just that there's an overwhelming, as it turns out, overwhelming need for people to get on these servers, and
who would have known?
Yes, there's huge slowdowns, and people can't connect for the longest time. Some people haven't even been able to play yet. It's all a big hullabaloo, but it's gonna get better as all things do. It's just the way it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people are having trouble. I saw one post where someone said their local gym was a porta potty in the middle of the woods. and one guy posted this picture, like it was like the app was telling him that a gym was, X whatever away, and he in the shot was an old Aldebaran offshore oil derrick.
Yeah, you should go check it out.
How are you gonna get there? God damn it. A friend of ours on Facebook from Chester, she said that one of her local gym is at her favorite eatery, her favorite diner. Mm-hmm. So she became like the gym leader or whatever while she was eating there. She took it over. Nice. So that's cool, So I want to play that game. It's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I have downloaded it, but I have not checked it out much. But I will probably do so in the coming week, and then I can give you a first-hand account of what it is like to Pokemon Go.
Okay.
So yes, I did remember hearing this story. I did not read the actual article, but I do remember seeing that headline out there.
It's amazing.
Oh man!
So another positive quality to Pokemon Go: police investigations. I suppose
you are helping the police solve crime.
It's a beautiful thing.
Unless you are committing those crimes. What a beautiful moment.
So there you go, Pokemon Go taking the world by storm. I wish I could be involved.
I feel like it's either gonna be fun or it's gonna be one of those things like, why did I do this? I don't know, as long as I get my Charmander though, I'm okay.
I want my Bulbasaur. I've always been a Bulbasaur guy.
Well, from what my roommate has said, is he plays the Pokemans. Actually, I think he's out Pokemaning right now.
I'm gonna start walking around my neighborhood.
I'm walking to work right now, so I feel like it's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, really. Come on now.
But from what he has said, is it starts off pretty similar to the original games. Like you pick your gender and then you your name and all that, and then you get 3 starters.
Yeah.
And then you Pokemaning, and 3 starters are the original.
The original 3, the OG 3.
So I can get my Charmander and then I can immediately quit.
There you go.
So there it is. Yeah. So check out the Pokemon Go, guys.
So much for the so much for the in-depth review from Kenny. Well, I got my Charmander and I quit.
Did you have fun? Yeah, I got my Charmander and I quit. That's all the fun I wanted.
That was it. Good game.
Actually, in fact, I uninstalled it, reinstalled, and got another Charmander and quit again.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. So check out the Pokemon Go if you haven't. And it does sound like a lot of fun. And from what I've seen on Facebook, quite a few people I know are out just like wandering around. And you just see, like, you go to the park and you just like see like 30 nerds just like chilling, looking for Pokemon.
Just be careful out there. Like I've seen a lot of posts where people are going like, "Yeah, it's 2 a.m, and yeah, I'm walking around my neighborhood trying to catch something." It's like, be careful. If you're gonna do that, wear like a high visibility jacket or something like that.
The only thing you're probably gonna catch is a knife in the chest when they steal your wallet.
Or like a car's gonna hit you and all they're gonna see is a glow of the phone floating through the air. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good.
And it's gonna land right near that Charizard you're trying to catch.
My Raticate.
No, Pidgey.
So.
Hilarious. So yeah, I am excited to check it out, and I will try to give some kind of in-depth response to the game as a whole in our next episode.
No.
So I think I will briefly talk about it so I don't forget in the future like I tend to.
Oh yes. You had a conversation.
I did. I had a conversation.
Not with me though.
No. I talked to someone of importance.
Yeah, I know.
I talked. Are you crying now? You're gonna cry again?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Brought some tears. Yep. There's no crying in baseball, Jeff.
We're not playing baseball. We're podcasting.
Yeah, we're not playing because you're crying.
Oh. Well, shit. Fuck you.
Love you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Oh, man. One more thing about Pokemon Go. Someone put up a meme.
Oh, I'm excited.
Of Team Rocket and Meowth, like, grinning and, like, colluding with each other. And it says, I bet I know who's behind all these server crashes. Team Rocket strikes again. Damn it.
Nice. Oh, awesome.
Sorry, go
ahead. But I had a conversation with the co-founder Palmer Luckey of the old Oculus Rift, because there was a PC Gamer article out where he was basically saying, as was summarized in the article, that console. To back up a little bit, basically it was said that Palmer Luckey doesn't think that console exclusives are a bad thing, and then apparently at one point, not in a response, but as a general thought to the evolution of VR, Gabe Newell, the head of Steam, or one of the heads of Steam, said that, or excuse me, Valve, that console exclusives are actually really bad for gaming in general. And then an article came out where Palmer Luckey said that they weren't, and then he doesn't see them as a problem, and people bitch and moan a little bit, but no one really cares.
Yeah.
And I read the article, and then I tweeted at him, "What fucking fantasy world do you live in that console exclusives aren't a problem?" And he responded to me asking me if I was quoting the PC Gamer article where he didn't actually say that. And I reread the article, and I admit I was wrong. The way it was written, because essentially the first two paragraphs were quotes from him or a description of what he was talking about, and the third paragraph is actually the author of the article summarizing more or less general thoughts on the idea. But the way it's written, it sounds like it's all one coherent thought from Palmer Luckey. So I read it, and I'm like, okay, so I'm wrong. This is not what he's actually talking about. But then I asked him, because he had said somewhere in the article, like, things on the Oculus platform aren't going to be exclusive to the Oculus, or to the Oculus, the platform, but you're going to need an Oculus device to use them. So I asked him, how are these not exclusive if you need the device to use it? And he had said basically you can put the SDK on another device. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that then? And he's like, well, you're not going to be able to do that without the manufacturer's permission. I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? And then someone tweeted, because obviously didn't understand what I was talking about, because I was saying, like, because Steam has a device out.
Yeah.
They had Steam VR. And I'm like, okay, well, then how do I put your Oculus SDK on the Vive, I think it's called? How to put it on the Vive? And someone's like, basically thought I was asking, like, how do I root my machine so I can put something else on? I'm like, no, I'm not asking that. I'm saying if you're telling me it's not an exclusive, how do I put this on another device then? Because right now, because I can't, it is exclusive despite you saying it's not going to be.
Yeah.
And then he never responded to that. So I'm like, I'm sure. And then someone else chimed in saying, like, well, yeah, eventually. It's like, okay, yeah, but I'm not talking about eventually, because he's saying that people are developing third-party systems that you can do that with. I'm like, okay, I've heard nothing about this, so I'm just taking you at your word for it. But even if that is the case, they're not going to come up for years. So what do I do in the meantime to play these Oculus specific games and apps and things on a non-Oculus platform without hacking my machine and putting the SDK on there when I'm not supposed to be doing that to make them non-exclusive? And no one had a response. So
what you're saying is that we had an opportunity to have our first interview for the podcast, and you alienated him by yelling at him on Twitter.
Yes, I did.
God damn it, Kenny.
Because, see, I like to talk to people of substance.
You're still talking to me.
And people who have a goddamn clue. You're the exception. You're the co-host.
Oh. But I am an idiot.
Well, I mean, you're talking to me, so.
Also true.
The important thing to take away from this, everyone, is that we're dumb. We're very dumb. But the fact that you've stuck around, thank you.
Or have you?
The fact that if you've stuck around to this point, thank you. Yeah, I didn't understand how he was going to say that something isn't exclusive, yet there's no way to play it on a non-Oculus platform. But yeah, so that was my brief Twitter conversation with the.
That was our first interview.
That was our first interview. Well, to be fair though, That was pre-podcast.
Oh, okay. So never mind. Oof. Oh, it's close there. So you didn't represent the podcast in any way while you were doing that?
No, that was entirely me representing my own views.
Oh, thank God. Can we get him on?
We could try. Just won't tell him it's me.
Three-way phone call. Anime news.
Oh, there's anime news, eh?
In that I started watching a new anime.
Ooh, what did you start watching?
It's not a new anime. In that the first season is already up on Crunchyroll, and the second season just aired, or just started airing. Mm-hmm. But I started watching it. It's called Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma, and it's amazing, Kenny. It's
what goes on in this?
It's ridiculous. I'm gonna read you the description put up by the Crunchyroll website. Shokugeki no Soma centers around Yukihira Soma, a middle school student who's determined to surpass his father's culinary skills. One day, his father decides to close down their family restaurant and hone his skills in Europe. Before leaving, he enrolls Soma in an elite culinary school that is extremely difficult to enter, with a graduation rate of only 10%.
That seems pretty high for an elite school.
Will Soma be able to improve his skills, or will the kitchen prove to be too hot?
Really?
Yes.
Really?
So.
God damn it.
So. The show is like the best, not Iron Chef America, but like Iron Chef. It's like Iron Chef meets every anime ever. Because there's like the ridiculous. It knows it's ridiculous. It knows it's a ridiculous premise, and there's lots. It gets very cartoony, which I know is a weird thing to say for an anime, but it's not realistic. Say, they're not trying to be slice of life or anything like that. And like one of the things about it is like he makes these dishes, and people eat them, and they go through this like weird montage every time of like he gives them, like he feeds someone like a fish meal. Or like no, he feeds someone a meal that like it's fish, but it's like it's the ultimate, and it's the ultimate expression of springtime, and like suddenly he's naked in a field and stuff like that. It's just like and all the women are having orgasms, which essentially what it is. They are orgasming. It's like what's happening. They're going they're making all the noises, but they're talking about how good the food is. The food looks great too. Like it makes me want to try cooking, which is funny. But because I'm terrible at it. But
you're not the only one.
But yeah, definitely recommended. It's outrageous and silly, and it's Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma. And the second season I think is just called Food Wars Second Plate. So. It's definitely, I'm enjoying it pretty thoroughly. It's just dumb. It does not take itself seriously as well as it should not, and they're doing a great job with it. I'm a big fan. There's a little bit of it's a little pervy, but most animes are.
Well, I mean, it is an anime.
Yeah, I mean these are all high school students. That are suddenly like nude and covering up their bits in whatever montage. One of the characters is a dude, and he spends a lot of his time either naked or mostly naked, which I think is funny because it kind of turns the genre on its head. Because most animes have women like that. This one, there's just a guy who's just very comfortable with being nude all the time, and there's lots of male nudity comments too. Like the most recent episode I saw involved like a bathhouse, but instead of like the common bathhouse thing, like the guys peeking in on the women, the fan service thing, it's like this guy, the main character, and like a chef, one of the big dogs at the school, a former graduate from the school, are in the baths together. And this dude is like ripped. This other guy, he's like boom, he's got like muscles on top of muscles. And he gets up out of the bath to say goodbye, and they're not wearing any clothes because they're in the bath. But like he does that thing where he does like the captain stance, and the way they censor it by putting the other character's head like in the way of the shot. But like essentially he's staring. He's like 6 inches from this dude's crotch. and they're still talking, and it's not weird or nothing like that. But like they do that a lot too. Like it's perverted, but it's perverted on both sides. It's not like just for boys essentially. You know, it's just silly. It's just stupid.
That's pretty cool.
And
I like that.
It's truly something that's amazing. I recommend it to all on Crunchyroll.com.
Check out Crunchyroll.com.
Crunchyroll.com, everybody.
For anime needs.
Oh my god, 1 hour after airing in Japan, you get these episodes. That's some fast
turnaround. That is 1 whole hour. You could find out when that episode is airing in Japan. And you could start a book, read a couple chapters. By the time you're done, getting like 3 or 4 chapters into that book, it's time to watch that anime.
If you subscribe to their premium service, you skip the ads and you get the shows 1 hour after they're released. Otherwise, you're like me and you have to wait a week. You're always an episode behind, but it's like I said, it's in Japan, so it's not like you're in spoiler territory. This isn't Game of Thrones, like you're a week behind all the time. Like, don't talk about it.
Or be that guy and talk about it.
Yes, exactly. But there's tons of shows, and their backlog is huge too. Like you can watch all of the original Naruto, and like that is a huge library. And then all of the Naruto Shippuden episodes as well, which I believe. What episode are they on? I stopped watching because they were just doing filler after filler, and I wanted them to continue the story. So I was waiting for the story to pick back up again before I got into it again. Let me see here. They're on 467 of that show, and you can go back and watch all of them. And it's free if you don't want to pay the premium subscription. You just got to sit through some ads.
There you go.
And that's it. Free. There's nothing around it. Like I don't understand. This is a great service. If you like anime, you should be watching Crunchyroll.com. I don't know what to tell you.
The one thing I will say, though, is no matter how free the service is, you could not get me to watch Inuyasha.
No, I don't think it's even on here.
Good. See, even more reason to support Crunchyroll because they got rid of garbage like that.
Oh, God, Inuyasha. Ugh. Oh, wait. Let me see. No, it's not on here.
Good. Give them money because they have quality programming that isn't Inuyasha. Hate that show.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's dumb.
Not my favorite.
It's awful, and the creators of that show should be punched in the stomach like 107 times.
That's the thing. They only show animes that have recently aired or are currently airing. So you can't go on there and like watch Big O or like the old Gundam Wing or...
Don't give them money.
Yeah.
Because they don't have quality programming.
Or Cowboy Bebop. Which I suddenly just want to listen to that last that outro song, the Real Folk Blues.
Awesome. That had a great soundtrack. It's one of the few anime soundtracks I legitimately will listen to is just because I love the songs. I love that someone made a wallpaper, a computer wallpaper for the that was based on the intro song, Tank, and they had all the lyrics.
Yeah.
Put out, and then at the end when it's just all the trumpets and all the jazz instruments, it just goes ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Like that just took time and effort to do that. And I don't care. As a quick side note, I don't care what has happened. Cosby Bebop will never not be funny.
Oh.
You cannot ruin Cosby Bebop for me.
Yeah, even if he is.
I don't care what he did.
Horrible.
The characters they are using, or the character I should say they're using, is not actually Bill Cosby.
Yeah, it's not really Bill Cosby.
It's Family Guy and Simpsons Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Exactly.
Plus, they just made him sound like an old kook anyway.
Yeah.
So.
God, that's a sad story.
Can't take Cosby Bebop away from me.
Any Cosby deniers out there? Listen, here's the thing. I would maybe be on board if there was like 1 or 2 women saying it, because it's still like his word against theirs and stuff like that. However, since so many women have come forward, and I mean like so many women.
I think it's like 50 at this point. But that for me begs the question. Now, I'm not a Cosby denier. But for me it begs the question, if you really did do it, how the fuck did he hide 50 people?
He paid them off or shamed them and stuff like that.
Because I know he didn't pay all of them.
He threatened. He would threaten these women like, you will never work in this town again. And he had that he had that clout because back in his heyday, Cosby was all powerful.
Well, I know, but I mean, even before this happened, he was still pretty powerful, just because of how long he'd been in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, like, there are other people that knew. Like, you're not gonna tell me that like those are the only two people that knew. I just don't see how you can keep that a secret that long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just so surprised.
But like my thing is if of all 54 women,
Mm-hmm.
even if only one actually was raped by Bill Cosby,
Mm-hmm.
that's one too many. Hate to say it.
Oh no, I totally. I don't care if he. Yeah, I don't care if he like tried to rape one or successfully raped 117.
Yeah, like I don't.
It's too
Yeah,
many.
I don't know. I don't know what
More
else to
than
tell you.
zero is more than zero is too
Even if
many.
all of them were lying, except for one, I'd still like one of them to get him put in prison for what he did. I'm sorry.
For at least some length of time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know for some of them, I think the statute of limitations has run
Oh, a
out,
lot of
so
them.
you
A
can't.
lot of them. But
Yeah.
the one he's currently on trial for is not. So.
Well, although I'm curious to see how that's going to play out, because from what I have heard is that she had originally reached a settlement with him regarding, I don't know if it was this incident or a similar incident in 2004.
Yeah.
But even though she was paid off, she's now come forward with this. So from what I've heard, they're suing her to try and get that money back, because essentially by going forward with this, she's breached the settlement agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, legally, like morally, that's out of the question, because you can't base this kind of argument
Yeah.
on morals. It's a legal argument. Legally, they actually do have the point. She should be giving the money back if she did actually breach her settlement agreement. But whether or not I agree she should, entirely different question.
I bet you she started a GoFundMe campaign to pay for that settlement back. People would donate, and
Oh,
she's like, "Here
absolutely.
you go, put him in jail." You know what I mean? Like it's fine.
Oh no, I'm not saying that she like
Mhm.
yeah, she could easily get the money back, I think personally she probably should pay it back and then do something like that to get to recoup her costs, because of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And if she does, she should throw a little my way so I can get my engine fixed.
There you go.
not to pimp myself out there a little bit.
Kenny's down a car.
I am down a
He
car.
has a car. It just has no engine.
I have like half a car because I have like the body is there, just the engine doesn't work. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to play out just from a legal standpoint,
Yeah.
because that will have precedent for future cases that are
Oh, big
similar.
time. Well,
So
sorry, internet, for getting all real.
we try to do that sometimes. We are lighthearted and fun, but damn it, we're real. Damn it,
We are real. We're real than real.
it's real to me. Damn it. Yeah. So there's that. All Bill Cosby talk.
Yes.
Good old
Good old
Bill
cause.
Cosby.
What else do we have up in the?
Well, we can keep on this real path that we're on.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit about Dallas.
Yes.
Dallas and Baton Rouge, Minnesota, and I can bring up this article that I found while we were talking.
Okay.
I'm just going to read you that. I don't know if I want to actually read the headline or if I want to go into the story before I read the headline.
Yeah, that's up to you.
I think what I'll do is I will I'll read the headline and then I'll read actually what happened, and then we can talk about it if you want. So, I'm going to let you think about what exactly went on here and I read the headline. Headline is, Kansas cop fired for threatening a 5-year-old's life on Facebook.
Okay, one more time.
A Kansas cop fired for threatening a 5-year-old's life on Facebook.
Whew.
Now, here's what he posted on Facebook.
Okay.
So the first sentence says, Officer Rodney Lee Williams was dismissed from the Overland. Also, side note, I'm really glad to see that a cop didn't just get administrative leave on this one.
Yeah.
Because that, like, I will say, I don't know, someone's gonna be mad. I don't always dismiss the idea of administrative leave, because sometimes, like, if you fire him and it turns out nothing went wrong, that's kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just put him on administrative leave and something did go wrong, also shitty. So, as our country is supposed to be founded on the idea of innocent until proven guilty, I don't always hate the idea of administrative leave, but I will say it does seem to be used a lot.
Yeah.
In some very obvious cases, it shouldn't be.
Especially when cops will call it being put on timeout. It doesn't. It
Yeah.
it lacks the severity.
Like the cops in the Baton Rouge incident.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, they went on administrative leave, and the videos I've seen, they should actually just be going to trial now because they straight up murdered a dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this says Officer Rodney Lee Wilson, was dismissed from the Overland Park Police Force Friday after harassing Dallas resident, which makes it so much better, Lanidra Williams on Facebook, threatening her 5-year-old daughter India. And this is what he wrote.
Wow.
We'll see how much her life matters soon, he wrote on a 2014 photo of the little girl, which means he had to go find this photo because this was out 2 years ago. Life matters soon, he wrote on a 2014 photo of the little girl. Better be careful leaving your open info where she can be found. And then he puts a smiley face emoticon. Hold her close tonight. It'll be the last time.
Wow.
That's what he wrote. Terrified by the comment from Wilson, a stranger living 500 miles away.
Yeah.
Really reported the comment. Wilson was fired the very next morning. In a statement, in a statement to the horrifying incident, the Overland Police Department issued the following statement, and this is what they tweeted out. Or no, I guess it's, so they put it on their Facebook. This morning, the Overland Park Police Department received notification by the Facebook post, reportedly made by one of our officers from his personal Facebook account. And this is the this is a quote from the police chief. I immediately initiated an investigation into the officer's actions and requested it be completed in a timely manner, said Police Chief Francis Donchez Jr. Oh wow, this is actually quite long, but I'll read it anyway. During the investigation by our professional standards unit, we learned that our officer did in fact make this post, Donchez said. It was obvious that our officer did not meet the standards of professionalism for the Overland Park Police Department.
No.
Overland Park terminated the officer effective immediately. Another quote, this quick action demonstrates our commitment to our core values, including integrity and respect, Donchez said. I want to assure our community and those outside our community that our highest priority is the safety and welfare of the citizens of Overland Park and the men and women who protect everyone. I will continue to hold the employees of the Overland Park Police Department accountable for its actions on and off duty. Finally, I want to publicly apologize to those affected by our officer's personal actions. His actions do not represent the Overland Park Police Department in any way, and no one should be subjected to any type of discrimination or this kind of behavior, the chief said.
Mm-hmm.
A criminal investigation is underway as a result of information discovered during the course of the personnel interview.
God damn.
So,
like seriously, your job is to protect people. You can't isn't there like
Here's what I think is going to happen with this. He's already been fired, so that's good. Glad to see that happen. The problem is that I see happening is it's going to become a free speech. Okay. So yeah, you might have noticed sudden drop in the conversation there. That wasn't you going deaf. That was a technical issue.
Yes, we are wrought with technical glitches today.
This is the day for it. I like that we're getting this out of the way early in the podcast, so that when we blow up, we don't have these kind of problems.
When we get all the blow ups.
But as I was attempting to say earlier, I'm curious to see how the whole issue with getting fired over threatening a 5-year-old is going to go. Because
so far it's gone pretty well. The guy is fired.
Which I think should be the case. But I'm curious because I'm wondering how, because it's going to be a free speech issue. Because normally when people say, "Oh, you're censoring free speech,"
though he broke a law he should understand because that's harassment. It's threatened. That's threatening that's threat to bodily harm. That's against the law.
The thing is, in what he said, he doesn't personally say, "I'm going to come there and kill your daughter." Like, he doesn't say that. He makes a general threat / comment.
So it's good enough to get fired, but not good enough to get arrested for.
But what I'm curious is going to happen, because every time something like this happens, where someone says something stupid on social media, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a free speech issue," blah 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 blah. And the argument is always, no, it's not, because free speech only applies to government-imposed speech.
Yeah.
The government is not under the free speech. Under the First Amendment, the government is not allowed to say, "Hey, you can't say that."
Yeah.
In this case, he's a government employee, being a police officer.
Yeah.
And he's being fired for something he said, which technically is the government saying, "Hey, you can't say that." So I'm curious to see how it's going to unfold. Like, I think you should be fired. Yeah. I don't think you should be saying shit like that to anyone, let alone a 5-year-old.
He should not be. He should not and cannot be prosecuted. I guess. But fuck.
But no, but I'm wondering if it's going to become an issue. Like, is he going to bring charges against the police department saying I was unjustly fired and my free speech rights were violated?
I hope not.
That's when I'm.
I really hope not. If he's smart, he'll let
Well,
this
no,
go away.
I think he might, but I don't think he'll win because it's. I mean, even though he didn't outright say I'm going to do this to your daughter, it's a very clear threat against someone's life.
If he is smart, he will let this go away.
Yeah, if he will smart, he will never be a public servant for the rest of his
Yeah,
life.
he's now a mall cop.
If even, I wouldn't hire him to work my mall.
Hell no.
He probably threatened the black people there.
And he's mean to little kids. There's a lot of
Yeah.
little kids
Well,
all over malls.
I mean, that's fine, but not in the way he did.
For the record, Kenny and I do not like children, but we would never threaten one.
I'll talk shit about them all.
Oh yeah, because they suck.
But I won't hurt them.
But I won't.
I would also consider saving a busload of them if I was able to.
Yes. But then I don't want them to touch me or look at me afterwards.
Yeah, like no, don't hold my hand.
No, you're all sticky and gross.
Grab this rope.
Yeah,
I'll hold on to the other end and we'll get you out.
Kids are gross. They smell bad. I hate kids. Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway.
So I'm curious to see what the outcome of this is. I'm curious to see if any legal recourse will occur.
A better podcast will surely follow this story for more details later.
Well, and by I mean we, will try and bring you more information as it develops.
That's what I just said.
I know, but I did it in a more professional manner.
I think I was very professional. Kenny, I am the most professional ever.
I don't think we have enough time left in the episode to go over why you're wrong there.
Go to hell, Kenny.
Love you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. But back to what we originally were going to talk about in this segment.
Dallas.
With Dallas. And Baton Rouge and Minnesota. Oh, I think the best comment I've seen to sum up how I feel about what's happening is did someone hire Quentin Tarantino to direct 2016?
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Because that's what it's turning into.
I don't like making light of this stuff. It's really
I don't fil like it's making light of it because it's at least the way I looked at it.
It is getting ridiculous. Like it's pointing out
it's become so violent that you can't help but make a lighthearted comment because it's so unbelievable what is going on right now.
It's terrible. It's just ugly and wrong and it just hurts. I don't know how else to put it. It's just bad.
Like it baffles me because I mean what happened in Baton Rouge was just outright atrocious. Like there's no way to describe it. You can't get around and say, oh well. Like I got into a conversation with someone about this on Twitter. I tend to do that.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed that. And some guy was talking about how because the person that was shot had a gun on him in his pocket, out of view, wasn't waving it around, wasn't threatening people with it, but he had it.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to see if I can pull up that Twitter conversation because that was pretty recent. So,
Kenny, I told you this earlier. I mean,
well,
my issue
earlier that I just had so many damn tweets to go through that I couldn't.
My issue with the whole thing is that like I don't want to live in a society where like this is what we're supposed to be constantly about, and I'm so sick of it just turning around constantly. It's like every time this happens, we have yet another conversation about gun ownership and gun violence and gun rights, and we have yet another conversation about mental health, and yet nothing happens again and again and again and again. And the NRA says they feel bad, but they don't really feel bad if they're not going to do anything about it. And like I don't want to divide anybody on this issue. Like if we have listeners that are pro-gun and we have listeners that are anti-gun or what have you, I don't care if you own guns. I don't. I like guns. I
think they're neat.
I think they're neat. I've fired multiple guns. I don't own a gun, but I've been to ranges a bunch of times, and I have a lot of fun shooting, and I get the appeal. That's great and all. But like, why? What's the problem with wanting it to be a little harder to get a gun? You're still going to get your gun. Every citizen who says like, why should I have to deal with this if I'm a responsible gun owner? It's like, but if you're a responsible gun owner, then you should be okay with it being harder for people who aren't responsible gun owners to get them. Like that seems like a responsible thing to do, does it not? I don't understand.
It does. See, my thing is, and I got into a conversation with one of our mutual friends about this. Part of the problem I have with the way that people approach this whole gun rights issue is that they say like, oh, why are you punishing good gun owners because some bad ones? So here's the thing, and they always quote the Second Amendment. Uh, the government shall not impinge our right to own firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, in that it says well-regulated militia, regulated militia, i.e., regulations, i.e., laws and rules passed about gun ownership.
Yeah.
They seem to forget what the definition of the word regulation is. And I got into a conversation with a friend of ours, and after oh, I forget which tragedy it was that happened. Oh, it was I think it was the Orlando nightclub shooting. And I basically brought up the argument that no one really ever seems to refute. I don't care if they don't refute because they think it's ridiculous, whatever. But I always say like, okay, well, if we can't have laws because criminals will always find a way to get around them. Why do we have laws against theft? Why do we have laws against arson? Why do we have laws against murder? Why do we have laws at all? If your argument is just going to be, oh, well, the criminals are just going to find a way to get around it. And the person I was talking to said, oh, well, we have those laws to keep honest people honest. I'm like, well, then why can't we have gun laws if the whole point of them is just to keep honest people honest? Because here's the thing. If you're going to make the argument that only people who follow laws are going to be affected by these, fucking duh. Because we have a phrase for that, law-abiding citizen. That's why we call them law-abiding citizens and call people who don't follow them criminals. Literally every law passed ever, regardless of how big or how small in capacity it is, only affects the people who follow it because the people who don't follow it don't care and we're going to do what they were going to do regardless of the law exists. You can't say that the laws are only going to affect law-abiding citizens and not understand that your argument makes no sense. Of course it's only going to affect those people.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who follow the law.
Just how it works.
Exactly.
I mean,
but the conversation that I found the tweets.
Okay.
So this other person I follow on Twitter was responding to this person, and then this person said, okay, the first tweet says, at least the kid he raped isn't mad. I don't know what they're referring to in this instance, but I'm sure it had something to do with one of the tragedies we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the person I follow says, as if this is an excuse, I'm not for a jury-led death penalty, let alone a street execution. And then the person said, it was natural selection. LOL, thug lived a thug life. He died a thug death. And I said, yeah, really living that thug life, selling some CDs and joking around with a store owner. And then he said, and threatening people with his gun he wasn't supposed to have, ha, 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 ha. And I said, right. And then I said, yeah, really, clearly threatening those cops with that gun by having it in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I said actually, what I said, I'm sorry, here are the tweets. It says, right, which is why it was in his pocket, not in his hand. Clearly very threatening. He was so threatening with it that he didn't even try and use it on the cops. And the guy responded, he was trying to wrestle it away from them. They didn't give him a chance to use it. And I said, they had to approach him for him to be in that position. Plenty of time for him to use it. So if he really wanted to threaten the cops with a gun, when they had to charge at him because they didn't just teleport on top of him, he could have shot them or shot at them. So to say that he was threatening them with a gun makes no sense because it was in his pocket the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And the video I originally responded to, it was a secondary video. I don't know if it's as widespread as the first one, but this one is basically the camera's like maybe 3 feet behind the cops when this is happening. And they're sitting on the dude, and they just shoot him like 3 or 4 times directly in the chest, and you could just see,
I
obviously,
saw the video.
Chest to him. And they don't even care they're being filmed because the cop shouts something like, fuck! And then they pull the gun out of his pocket. They don't try and call for backup. They don't try and call for an ambulance. They just sit there, basically lay on the ground, and watch this dude bleed to death.
I don't...
You cannot tell me that they didn't just try and execute this man.
I don't want to comment on the video per se because I am not as convinced as you. I'm trying to watch the video as I can, but I can't see the other half of it. I can't see what they're seeing because the video is from one side and a lot of the action is blocked. All you see from the video is the worst part of it. You don't get to see what that guy's hand was doing, and I think he said fuck because he just shot a guy. I feel like that would be my reaction to be. It's like he just had a life endangering situation, and most cops don't kill anybody.
And I agree, most cops don't. But my thing is if he really did shout fuck because he just shot a dude, they did nothing at any point to try and save his life, call for backup, call for an ambulance. All they did was rolling around for a minute, take his gun out of his pocket, and then do nothing after that.
That we can see in the video because the video cuts.
But that's the thing.
And he does. He goes on his radio and he says shots fired, and he says that the suspect's been hurt.
But I mean, if you're gonna have that reaction where you shot someone, you're freaking out. Your immediate reaction should be, I need to call someone. I can't just sit there and try and take a gun out of his pocket. He's already incapacitated because he's bleeding to death. taking the gun out of his pocket isn't helping anybody because he's not going to be able to use it anyway.
I just don't think there's enough. I don't think, and I want to be very clear about this because I'm not trying to say one way or the other about the thing. I am on. I do not think there's enough evidence in that video to condemn one party or the other. I think the video is it's certainly graphic, it's very compelling, and it certainly tells a story, but I don't think it tells the whole story. I don't think we get enough evidence in it. Now, then we kind of get into the he said, she said stuff, and I don't want, like I said, I don't want to side with the cops, I don't want to side with the victim. I just want that to be known. That's just how I feel about it. I don't think it's as cut and dry as everyone's making it seem. And yes, it's important to talk about this because the violence against one minority in specific is terrible. Any sort of cop violence, whether it be sanctioned by the government or not, is bad. That's all bad. We shouldn't have to do that, and it's just terrible that it exists. However, I feel like for this particular instance, I cannot say with enough evidence one way or the other if anything happened that one party should be more guilty than the other. I can't say it. It doesn't look like it to me. I can't do anything about it the way it is. And I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to side with anybody. I'm not trying to pick one side or the other. I'm not saying that the Black Lives Matter movement isn't important. I'm not saying that it's not like, I'm not saying the cops were within their rights or that the guy wasn't doing anything illegal. He was. He was doing something illegal when he got the CDs, but the gun thing is a different thing, and I just don't think there's enough evidence, and I haven't heard enough about it because the entire media and internet has just jumped on this video, which shows cops shooting a guy in cold blood. That's what it looks like, and I just don't think I just don't feel like there's enough there for me to really be about it, and that's where I'm at on it. I'm on the Dallas shooting. I don't know much about the Minnesota shooting other than it happened because I just can't read about this stuff anymore. But
yeah, the Minnesota shooting I don't really know anything about because I haven't seen anything posted about it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot posted, but I've been skipping over it, and I know, like, once again, this stuff really matters, but I just don't have it in me right now. There's just so much, and I'm just so tired of it, and it's really kind of getting to me. I don't want to hear about this anymore, and not because I want it to go away and I'm just closing my eyes. I just don't want it to be an issue anymore. I don't think we should ban all guns outright. I do think we should make it harder to get. Like the comedian Jim Jeffries, who is Australian, so there's that. He's not really he's an American citizen now, but he is an Australian natural, and he in his comedy special Bear, which you can watch on Netflix. It's really funny. But he has in the video the clip has been put out. He talks about gun control, and I feel like he makes some really good points. In that, like, anybody, like people always talk about, like, well, they're still going to get the guns anyway. The real criminals, the really criminally insane, that kind of thing, they're still going to get them. And it's like, he brings up the Columbine kids, and he brings up the kid the guy who had actual mental deficiencies, and he brought him up, the kid who shot all those guys, all the Newtown kids, all those children. He shot all those children. If the background checks were more secure and strenuous, and if that loophole where you can buy a gun at a gun show without any sort of check whatsoever was closed, that guy would have not gotten a weapon.
Well, I will disagree with that because from what I understand with the Newtown shooting, is the guns were actually owned by his mother and he stole them from her house. So but then you have to ask the question, well, should she have even had them? So it's a harder question to answer because he didn't directly buy them. But that being said, that says nothing about whether or not we should increase background checks and make it harder to get a gun. One story where some guy, found a way to quote unquote circumvent the system to get his guns doesn't mean we shouldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting you know that right now. Everyone who's going to say, "Oh, well, see, guy, can't do anything. Guy got his guns anyway."
There's
one failure doesn't mean that we shouldn't try.
Jim Jeffries brings up two good points about the getting guns on the quote unquote black market. One, it's incredibly cost prohibitive to get any sort of weapon on the black market because it's a black market. You pay a premium for secrecy and buying something illegal. It's incredibly expensive. So much more money. These guys would not have access to it because they couldn't afford it. Plus, you can't just stumble upon the black market. He makes this bit where he's like, they don't go down to the wharf and just go, guns? Anybody sell guns? Like, you can't just...
See, I I've always it's from what I've seen. It always sounds like the people who say like, "We're just gonna guns on the black market," think the black market is an actual place you can go to.
Yeah, I mean, like there is the
Like,
dark web, so to
no.
speak, but like once again,
Yeah,
make
but again,
money.
you have to know how to navigate
Yeah, you
that.
have to know how to get there. You don't have to go how to get in. You have to have money to do it and the
Yeah.
know-how. And most of these
Mhm.
guys just aren't gonna. I'm sorry. And so you can't tell me that like there's evidence from around the world from other countries that have similar laws or have banned out guns outright, which I'm not saying we should, but there is a significant and notable drop in violent crimes once that happens. That's just the way
Yeah,
it is. America's not different. People are people. We have to stop assuming we are different, but we're not.
mhm. Exactly.
We're the same people.
I just and I don't understand. Like we always say, like, oh well, gun laws aren't going to work. It's like, okay, what we're doing now isn't working.
Yeah,
Why don't we try something new?
I can show you factually with data that what you're doing now, what you're proposing now, does not work.
And as much as I just said, one story doesn't prove the whole thing doesn't work. I will say, if you remember, way back, I think last year, there was a shooting on an Oregon campus, a community college
Yeah.
campus. A man with a shotgun. He, I think, killed 7 people. I believe he killed 7 people. But he had a shotgun, which means he had to reload. And he was stopped by a man who didn't have a gun. So to say that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, that clearly isn't the case because a man without a gun stopped a gunman. And before you say anything, that campus was not a gun-free zone. And there were people, from what I heard, again, anecdotal to a degree. I don't know if this is true, but if it is, there were people on the campus who had guns on them who fled in fear.
And there's also equal amount of stories where it's like a guy who had a license carry stopped a violent crime with his gun. And
Which is great. I'm glad that he did.
yeah, but still it's like we've been like you were saying, it's like outlying stories don't make don't make universal truths. That's just the
Exactly.
way it is. It's like bottom line is I don't want drastic changes to our gun laws. I don't want and no one's going to take your guns. Stop saying that. It's just fucking stupid.
Like Obama's been in office since 2008. He's going to be out in less than a year. If you want to take our guns, he'd have tried by now.
Yes. And quit saying it's for like protection against the government because god damn it, they have drones. What's your little pistol gonna do
Yeah.
when they bomb your house from the sky?
As much as most of the government or most of the employees, the military,
Hmm.
people in the military, most of them probably wouldn't try and kill you
Yeah.
if the president's like, okay, I need you to firebomb these people with drones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there would be an outcry of some sort.
But I guarantee you, they're probably going to find one dude who's okay with it.
Yeah.
Because the military is full of a lot of people, a lot of different mindsets, a lot of different personalities. I guarantee there's one sociopath who's been real good at hiding it, who would eagerly await the chance to blow some people up in his own country if he
Yeah,
could.
no matter who they are.
Guarantee you that guy exists.
It's just the way it is. I mean,
And for me, no, like I said, I don't think that outliers should be the main driving force behind any new legislation. But to sit there and say that, oh, the only way to stop a good guy with a gun is a bad guy with a gun, and one guy disproves your theory, you might want to relook at your theory. That's all I'm saying.
it's just not enough. It's like we have to there has to be a change. It's the only way around it. It has to be harder for people to get access to this stuff, and for obvious reasons. Not for it's not like a big mystery. We found this like we last year we had more shootings, more mass shootings than days in the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than 365 mass shootings. We're not talking about just gun violence crimes, mass shootings.
From what I read, and this is prior to the recent shooting. This is up to the Orlando shooting. From Sandy Hook, Newtown, to the Orlando shooting, which has a period of about 4 years, there were 885 mass shootings. In the, like that's insanity.
That's 885 too many.
We can't be okay with that. And yes, it doesn't matter what. Again, it doesn't matter what you pass. There's gonna be some douchebag who wants to shoot people. Because guess what? You can't legislate assholes out of existence.
Yeah, it's impossible.
No matter how much you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's another situation with an outlier. Just because some dude is going to find a way to subvert your laws and do some damage doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why people don't want to try. It baffles my mind.
I'm trying to find a post by a family member of mine. He put up uh, he uh, he had a really good like allegory, so to speak. It was a while back. It was from one of the other mass shootings. So he's
So I did quick math on that. Those shootings of 885 in 4 years
yeah.
means for all the days, if you look at it just as a percentage, like a pie chart, 60% of the days of those 4 years there was a shooting. Like that you shouldn't have a time period of 4 years where more than 50% of the days had a shooting happen.
Because
Like
it's like living in a war zone at that point.
it's ridiculous.
And like in all these guys, like a lot of my friends who are on Facebook, for example, friends I've worked with who are veterans and things like that, who are like pro gun and they're kind of pissed off about California's new laws against ammunition and stuff like that that Brown just passed. They're all like really ticked off about it. Um, you guys went to war and you shouldn't have to come back. You shouldn't have to come back to one. You know?
Exactly.
Like, oh, here's the post. He says, I don't like traffic lights or stop signs. I feel like I can breeze through intersections safely without stopping, and I'm aware of my surroundings. When I see another car, I will yield, but not everyone is as safe and courteous in these situations, and people have gotten hurt and killed. We now have stoplights and signs. Now everyone has to abide by these new regulations. It sucks for me, who's a responsible driver that can navigate intersections safely without the government telling me when to stop and go, but I am also intelligent and reasonable enough to understand why traffic signals are necessary. Can we somehow maybe get what he's going
No,
for
because
there?
goddamn it, that goddamn Obama's gonna come and take your guns and then gonna just be a totalitarian tyrant, gonna take us all, put us in the gulag.
That's the problem. That's the problem we're having.
I think one of the dumbest, I don't, it's not just an opinion, but just a general overview of this whole situation is talking about the Aurora shooting
Mm-hmm.
during the Dark Knight Rises, or no, it was the Dark
That
Knight.
was the Dark Knight.
It was Dark Knight. People make the argument that, oh well, this guy went to three different. He passed by three different theaters before he found one that was a gun-free zone, had the signs out. Problem with that argument is, Aurora is not a very big town. This is a very large premiere. He went to the largest theater in the city, where most people were going to be that wanted to see the movie. If I'm looking to shoot people, I'm not going to small theaters. I'm going to the largest one I can find. And then what he did, and then people saying like, oh, well, if people had guns, they'd be able to stop him. So what he did is he waited till about 12:30. He went through the exit door and he kept it propped open enough that he could get back in. Got his guns, threw tear gas into the theater, and then shot I think 42 people. If you have a gun and you're surrounded by tear gas, unless you happen to bring your gas mask that day, you're not going to be able to see shit to shoot the guy who's shooting at everyone. All you're going to do is probably wing a bystander or kill someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole argument that like, oh, if people at Aurora had guns, that wouldn't have happened doesn't make any sense when you can't fucking see. And it's just, I just don't get it. I don't get the argument.
I mean, I feel like we spend a lot of time on this already, but like, I just don't want to. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. I wish this wasn't something we had to talk about or see anymore. It's just ridiculous. This is dumb. This is the antithesis of what is good.
I think the best way I can sum up my feelings on it is that I miss the days when something like this would happen and we'd be shocked.
Yeah, remember
Like
Columbine?
when Columbine
Oh
happened
my
and we
God,
could.
the world over, and like the world reacted in the wrong way too. Suddenly, if you wore a long trench coat, you were a mass murderer waiting to happen, and you know Doom was responsible for everything because we always react badly.
Oh yeah, of course. It's always a knee-jerk emotional reaction. No one ever takes the time, and I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, when you have things like this happen, you're freaking the fuck out. You don't know what to do.
You're scared.
But no one ever has a logical reaction. Say, let's take a step back. Let's look at what's happened, and let's look at what we need to do. It's always a knee-jerk
What
reaction.
do they say in Men
Like
in Black? Will Smith's character Jay, he goes, "How could this be? People are smart." And then Kay cuts him off. He goes like, "No, a
oh, that's
person is
right.
smart. People are dumb,
People.
stupid animals."
That's right. And that's I
It's
think
incredibly accurate.
it's kind of sad how accurate
Yeah,
that
really.
is. But and then again, we have people who disprove the idea that a person is smart.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Donald Trump.
A person can be smart, but people
But yeah, the general idea that because the mob mentality, the mob rule mentality takes over, and people lose their ability to think for themselves, and they just want to go with the group, which can be really bad and really just not. Oh, it can't help us function all the time. We can't always do that.
So anyway,
yeah, I miss the days when Columbine happened and we were actually legitimately shocked and surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we shouldn't go out on this note though.
Nope.
I feel like
I'm gonna
we're a happier podcast than this because damn it, we're a better podcast.
try to be.
Try to be better.
But I will send you this hilarious tweet to make you feel better.
Okay. Let's see if I can. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a GIF. Oh, come on, kid. Just oh god. Oh, to the yay to those at home.
Wait for it.
Oh,
wait for
god
it.
damn it, kid.
So to describe what's happening is this
God.
kid has like one of those old school basketball hoops, and
The little
like,
Fisher Price style.
yeah, and he goes up to try and dunk, and he misses, and then he tries a layup, and he misses, and then he tries it like a sky hook, and he misses, but it knocks the hoop down to his height, so he just goes in for the dunk, and he's like, yeah, woo, and then he like shoves the hoop a bit, and then he kicks it, and then it comes back and hits him in the face.
Falls down. See, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see videos of people getting shot in the chest. I want to see videos of kids getting hit by basketball hoops. Is that better?
The only thing that I think would make this better is when he gets hit in the face with the basketball hoop. If the old school Unreal Tournament guy came in and said headshot, because he also, when he gets hit in the face, he just lays down.
Yeah, he's like calling a day right there.
I don't know if he's really badly hurt or if he's just really frustrated because the last couple minutes just sucked for him, but he's just like laying on the ground. So I think that's a good way to go out. But yeah, I'm not gonna just say we'll try better next time. I'm gonna say America try better.
America do better next time. Obama said it too. We have to do better.
We have the capacity as a country to actually solve our problems. Like there's an ad I saw back in the old Chester Calf saying, it's kind of corny, but I think it does have some merit, saying that there's nothing that's wrong with America that can't be fixed with what is right with America. And I think it's true. I think as many problems as we have, we are a good country. We have the capacity to fix the problems that we have. We just have to actually care.
That's all it takes.
Just someone just be like, you know what? I'm actually let me sick of this. Let's do something about it.
When we were, like, when this country was together on something, we accomplished great, amazing things. We went to the moon.
Absolutely. We went to there are two countries. I meant to say this on our July 4th podcast. But always remember, America, there are two types of countries in this world. Those that use a metric system and those that went to the fucking moon.
And we did that. We went to the moon.
That is us.
We went to the moon first. We planted our flag. The moon is ours by some crazy ancient maritime law.
Yep. We owned the goddamn moon.
We have the moon, you guys. The moon should be the 51st state before Puerto Rico.
It is the Moonited States of America.
So let's all think about that for a minute.
Actually, to be honest, that'd be fucking hilarious if we made it. We made that first state before Puerto Rico.
Understand that if you own a Roomba, that Roomba's computer is like 50 trillion times, probably not actually, but 50 trillion times more robust than the computers that sent men to the moon.
Okay. Your iPhone is more robust than the computers that were on the rocket that went to the moon.
Well, yeah.
Think about that.
It's just incredible. Hell, your iPhone is more robust than the space shuttle was when we retired it.
Just think about that. You hold in your hand better technology than the entirety of 1969.
Than all of 1969 put together.
I think one of the greatest things I've ever seen about how to describe, like, if you had a time traveler from like a century ago or like 50 years ago, like how would you explain like technology to them? Someone said something like, I have in my hand a device that lets me search out the entirety of information in the history of mankind, and I use it to look at pictures of cats and argue with strangers on the internet.
And porn.
And porn.
And send hieroglyphics to my friends. Fucking emojis. I hate emojis.
Yeah, fuck emojis. Let's talk about that for a minute. Fuck emoji.
Ha-
There's an emoji movie coming out, and I think I want off the planet
Didn't I
now.
already rant about my emojis?
I don't believe
I
so. At least not on the show
I
or
I,
whatever.
I I'll tell the story again because it's just funny, I think. But a buddy of mine at work, Home Depot, was well, he sent me a text asking. He goes, "Do we really have to work on Memorial Day?" And now he's worked at the Home Depot for like I think 2 years now, so
So he should know the
he's
answer to
he's
that.
gotten out of what that tells me he's gotten out of working Memorial Day the past 2 years.
That motherfucker.
And so he sent me a text going, "Do we really have to work Memorial Day?" So I got some people together, and I sent him a video of us all laughing at him. And instead of like saying something back to me,
hmm
he sent me a bunch of fucking emojis.
Did
And
they send you an eggplant?
no, I don't think it was an eggplant.
Okay.
But so next time I saw him, I go, listen, the government has spent a lot of money so that you could get actually what's still not the greatest as we know, but still a fine public education, so that you could learn how to read and write as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You are holding in your hands the most powerful tool that mankind has ever created for dispensing and receiving information. And this is what you're holding is the culmination of thousands of years of technological advancement to its current pinnacle, and used it to send me goddamn hieroglyphics.
We did not develop this technology so that we could go full circle and become the goddamn Egyptians
I'm
again.
so mad about that. They're pictographs, for God's sakes. So stupid. And I don't understand them either. Like, it took me. Remember the Deadpool one that they had? Where it was like a skull
Oh,
and
skull
it was
skull poople.
yeah, it was the skull and crossbones plus the poop symbol plus L. And everyone
Yeah.
who knows emojis were like, "Oh, Deadpool." And I saw that and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I I have a
I
degree, guys.
I read it legitimately as skull poople because I didn't realize it was a Deadpool
I
ad.
didn't understand, and I'm sorry.
And I don't care how old that makes me sound to you.
I can read leet
I don't
speak.
care. I don't care if I have suddenly jumped like 50 years in time and I'm now a 78-year-old man because because you hear us complaining about emojis.
We were mad about leet
Right
speak
out of
back in the
God.
day, and now we're mad about this.
That's why he's dead Mao 5 because Leet Speak is stupid then and it's even stupider now because the trend died years ago.
It's over. Well, he can't just change his name.
He could.
He could
He could.
still.
I mean, Prince did.
Yeah. Well, Prince did for not fashion reasons. It's a different story.
Well, he did because I don't know what they wanted him to change his name for some reason, so he did.
No, Prince. The story. Okay, fine. In the briefest possible, Prince wanted to put out an album like every month or whatever. When Prince died, there's a whole vault of like unreleased Prince stuff. Like he was so prolific. There's like he had the ability to, if he wanted to, put out an album every month. The studio, the record company he was working with at the time, didn't want him to. They didn't want to
Why?
saturate the market with Prince albums. They were like one a year. Uh, and so then he said, "Well, I'm just not going to put him out at all." And then he got into a big problem with the record company, and it was a breach of his contract because they owned the rights to the name Prince. So he became the artist formerly known as. Years later, he fought and got his name back, and now he's then before.
Which I thought was really stupid because his birth name is actually Prince. Like it's not a name he made up. It's not a stage name. His birth name is Prince. How can you take his name away from him?
Sweet is.
Goddamn internet. Yeah, fuck emojis. Make an emoji movie.
So mad about that.
Okay, here's what I'm
The
mad
Angry
about.
Birds movie made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, here's what I am mad about that will probably make a lot of money. Not only are they making a Tetris movie, apparently, you might want to sit down. You're sitting down?
Yes.
You might want to sit down for this. They have so much story written that they are making into a trilogy. They said that the story was too big for one film.
There, now it's all stuck in your heads. Ha! Ha!
Hey, Yuri, what do you want to do? I don't know. I think I will save straight block, and I will drop the short T drop. the short T block. What do you think? No, I think you should. I think you should use long block because L block come down next. That is what the movie's going to be. It's going to be two Russian dudes for 3 movies sitting in their fucking house talking about playing Tetris. You know, for a while I heard they were making a Sims movie, and I thought it was a joke, and I'm not so sure anymore. They are making a fucking Monopoly movie.
Mm.
And if memory serves, hold on, I'm gonna look this up because I want to make sure that I get this right. Oh my God, there's an official trailer out. Please be real. Let's look up the Monopoly on the IMDb.
Oh no.
I want to make sure that I don't screw this up. Well, I can't seem to find it.
Oh well.
But
you fucked up.
well, no, I from what I've heard, and I hope this is real, that the director of the Monopoly movie is going to be Ridley Scott.
And on that bombshell, we should call it. There's nothing else to say, Kenny.
I don't know. I feel like this could be its own podcast. The Monopoly movie fallout.
We haven't even gotten to my Ghostbusters loot crate, which I received yesterday. We'll have to do that next time. We're running long.
That's your teaser for next episode.
That's what I have tease.
We're gonna talk about a Ghostbusters loot crate.
I'm gonna tease your ear hole, baby.
As was it Kevin Smith to say? Tease your ear pussy.
Ear pussy. He's gonna tickle your ear pussy.
That's right.
He also says we're gonna deliver some great aural because AURL is sound auditory.
Oh, I do have. We can't quite leave yet because I do have great news about the screenwriter.
Oh God,
is Andrew Niccol. Do you know what Andrew Niccol wrote?
No.
The Truman Show.
Wow. But no, later. Later.
I will say this as a quick side.
Okay.
Apparently Ridley Scott is only a producer. He's not a director. As weird as it is, I think you could actually make a story out of the Monopoly board game, but it would be very difficult and really hard to pull off, even if you wrote out a screenplay of some kind. But I think you could, because it could just be a movie about some dude foreclosing on a block.
It's too real.
See, this movie came out in 2008. Oof. Too real. On that note, thank you for joining us and dealing with our technical difficulty. Hopefully next time we will actually do better. And thank you for sticking in with when shit got real.
Yes.
We went on that path, but I think it's good. I think it's, like you said, it's good to talk about these kind of things because we can't let them go by the wayside. We can't ignore them because nothing will change. Even though we talk about them, nothing does. It's still good to talk about them to at least get opinions and emotions.
Even if it does suck, because I just really am tired of talking about it, but I have to.
I am optimistic in that I know it will get better. Eventually. I just hope it gets better sooner than later.
I think a series of people have to die of old age.
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, the only way that anything is going to change is if someone high up in the NRA gets their child or their wife killed. That is the only way they're going to be like, you know what, we need to do something about guns. Because that's what usually happens.
I still don't wish that upon anybody.
I don't either, but I just look at like other trends. Like there have been several senators who have friends or family members come out of the closet, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I'm for gay rights," because they know someone who is, for lack of a better word, position that they are opposed to, and then they get to know them, and be like, "Actually, you're a good person. This is a terrible thing I'm doing." So, as much as I don't want it, I really don't. I will say, I do not want that to happen to someone. But I really think the only way it's going to happen is if someone loses a life. Because I just don't see how it's going to change.
We've lost enough lives. Tired of this shit.
Begetting violence is not the answer.
Right.
But on that uplifting note,
yes,
I do mean it though. I'm glad for those of you who did, I'm glad you stuck around for this episode and listening to our heavy hitting, not so fun segment. But they can't all be fun and games. The world is a real place. We gotta talk about it sometimes.
Yes. Next time we'll discuss more fun things.
We will try our best to have an all fun show.
Unless there's more shootings. God damn.
When there's more shootings. But we'll try to have an all fun show as a treat for you guys for sticking around for this one.
Yes.
But as always, I'm Kenny.
I'm Jeff.
And that's Jeff.
Yes.
And, this is a better podcast, and next time we will really try to do better.
We will do better next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.